You know, Pakistan is home to one of the most productive agricultural systems on the entire planet. But all of that incredible abundance, it's resting on a really delicate balance. So today, we're going to break down the recipe for that success and look at the huge challenges that could threaten its entire future.
It seems like such a simple question, doesn't it? What does it take to grow our food? But the answer? Well, it's this fascinating story about a constant dance between what nature gives us for free and what human ingenuity brings to the table. And getting that balance right, that's everything.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the basic recipe for farming. Then we'll look at the roles nature and people play. We'll see how it all comes together across the seasons. And finally, we'll ask the big one. Can this whole system actually last? All right, first up, every single farm, I don't care if it's a tiny family plot or some massive commercial operation, it follows the exact same basic recipe. So to get a handle on Pakistani agriculture, we've got to start with that simple formula.
At its absolute core, agriculture is just that, the process of working with the land to grow life. It's about turning the basics, soil, sunshine, water, into the food and materials that keep us all going. In that process, it always breaks down into 3 key stages. First, you need your ingredients. We'll call those the inputs. Then you've got the actions you take, the work you do, like planting and watering. Those are the processes. And finally, you get your result, the harvest, the outputs. This simple little framework is the key to, well, everything else we're about to talk about.
So let's start with those inputs. Before any person ever sets foot on a field, nature has already set the stage. And it offers both these incredible gifts and some really serious threats.
Think of it this way. Nature provides the canvas, the land, the climate, the soil. But it's the human input, the work, the tech, the money, that actually turns that canvas into a masterpiece, into a harvest. Success really just depends on how well those 2 things work together.
And in Pakistan, wow, nature's gifts are just immense. You've got the huge flat Indus plain, which is absolutely perfect for machinery. The soil there, called alluvial soil, has been deposited by rivers for thousands of years, making it incredibly fertile. And the climate? It delivers that perfect trifecta of sun, heat, and rain that crops just love.
But, and this is a big but, nature is totally unpredictable. Too much rain, you get devastating floods. Too little, you get a drought. A single frost overnight can wipe out an entire crop. And don't even get me started on pests and diseases. For a farmer, these dangers are always there.
And this is exactly where human ingenuity comes into play. Faced with all that volatility from nature, farmers have developed all sorts of tools and techniques to manage the risk and get the most out of their land. This is what we call the human engine of farming.
Just take a simple choice, like what kind of seed to plant. A farmer can use traditional daisy seeds. They're cheap, they're tough, and they're already used to the local climate. Or they could invest in what are called high-yielding varieties, HYVs, which can boost harvests like you wouldn't believe, but they need way more water and expensive fertilizers. It's a huge decision, a real balancing act between tradition and technology.
And these are the core actions, the real craft of the farmer. It all starts with plowing to get the soil ready. Then comes sowing the seeds. Fertilizers give the soil a nutrient boost. And irrigation, well, that's absolutely crucial to make up for unpredictable rain. All of this hard work, all of these steps, they're all building towards one single moment, the harvest.
Okay, so we've got the ingredients and we've got the actions, but how does this all fit together in the real world? Well, the answer lies in the rhythm of the year, which is split into 2 totally distinct growing seasons.
The entire agricultural year is basically cut in half. You've got the Kharif, or summer season, which is all about heat-loving, thirsty crops like cotton and rice. Then you have the Rabi, or winter season, which is perfect for crops like wheat that do better in a milder climate. This dual rhythm is what a farmer's entire life is built around. And within those seasons, farming happens for 2 very different reasons. On one hand, you have subsistence farming. This is all about survival, growing just enough to feed your family, usually with traditional methods. On the other hand, you have commercial farming. That's a business. It's about using modern tech on a massive scale with one goal: making a profit for the market. So we've seen the recipe, we've seen the rhythm, but this entire amazing system is now facing a huge threat, a kind of slow-motion crisis that makes you wonder if any of it is truly sustainable for the long haul.
So here's the crazy irony. The very same irrigation that made this land so fertile now threatens to destroy it. For decades, water has been seeping out of unlined canals, causing the underground water level to rise. This leads to waterlogging, which literally drowns the roots of the plants. Then, as that water on the surface evaporates, it pulls up toxic salts from deep in the earth, leaving this crust that makes the soil totally barren. It's turning fields of green into deserts of white.
But this is a fight that can be won. The solutions start by fixing the problem at the source, lining the canals to stop the leaking. At the same time, tube wells can be used to literally pump the excess water out and lower that water table. And looking ahead, the real answer is in smarter water use and sustainable methods like crop rotation, which can actually heal the soil for generations to come.
So we end right back where we started, with that question of balance. Pakistan's agriculture is an absolute marvel, but it's really poised on a knife edge. With a climate that's changing and a population that's growing, the challenge isn't just to grow more food, it's to do it without destroying the very land that makes it all possible in the first place. The future of a nation really depends on getting that balance right.